That's funny. That's funny. What's up, everybody? Comedian Leon the Jokester here. Someone said, every time I try to get my life right with God, Cardi B drops a new album. That's funny, man. That's funny. Oh my goodness, man. These allergies. Allergies. Okay, so let's get started with this video, man, because we got several more to drop today. I promised everyone yesterday at least 3 today, and then I got a real funny one I'm gonna do when my wife gets home before I take her out to eat, and my son. So my son kind of came up with the concept, so I gotta give him his props. Um, so yeah, so uh, I got to get all this stuff done. Rehearsal went well today, so excited about that. And then now we are doing our videos for the day, and then we're gonna go out and celebrate tonight. So okay, I think I'm ready, man. Yeah, so thank you guys for all the questions. I thank you for the emails. Leon the Jokester at yahoo.com. If there's any questions that you have, that you need us to address, we will do that. I'm just trying to teach people how to capitalize on things. It worked for me. It may work for you. It may not. Who knows? But I know from my past experiences, it's been very well. So the title today is like, how am I making thousands of dollars now, capitalizing off of racism? Okay, so let me backtrack for a second. In comedy, uh, the best material and the best jokes come from personal experiences. I'll say that again. In comedy, the best material, the best jokes, the best comedy at the highest level is going to come from personal experiences. Why? Because one thing in America, I don't give a care how much people argue about it. I don't care how much people, have their opinions. You can never, ever take away an experience from someone. So if I walk outside right now and I pimp slap someone in the face, that person that I slap will always remember my handprint on the side of their face, right? Hypothetically speaking. So that person that was slapped, if they go, let's say they live another 20 years and they're going on the news stations, the radio stations, and I've been slapped by a big black hand, you got to understand that even if someone calls in and gives their opinion, oh, I don't think you were slapped, and then someone else like, oh, slapping ain't that bad. You can never take away that person's experience. That's the reason why people fight the Bible so much, because you weren't there when Jesus Christ walked the earth, but yet he never existed. He's this, he's that. You don't even know if people from the 1500s existed, 1300s. Oh, there's pictures and painted pictures, and like, you can never take away someone's personal experience. If you look at the whole New Testament of the Bible, the Apostle Paul wrote the majority of that, and you can't take away his personal experiences. I was in a debate years ago. Some chick in New York City went on a show, and then they plugged me in, and that was her thing. Like, oh, there's no such thing as the Apostle Paul. Who are you to take away the Apostle Paul, the Roman Empire, the Colosseums? They used to go to the Colosseums to watch animals eat people. You get what I'm saying? Like, who are you to say that, oh, I'm going to just take away all these parts of history just because I don't like something or I don't believe in something? That's ignorant. So let's get right into this, man. With no further ado. So thousands of dollars have been made. Don't worry, I pay Uncle Sam. My comedy career is legit. But I write a lot of my material just from personal experiences. And so I had a situation happen. I have neighbors, right? They live directly across from me, right? They have like 2 cars, and one of them is really, really nice. He has the rims, it's slammed to the ground. He got the pipes. Like I really, really like his car. Well, they moved in like a year or two ago, and when they moved in, um, they always ignored us like we were enemies or something. I'm like, man, I'm just being neighborly, right? Wave, smile. That doesn't work in America always. That doesn't work in America always. So I continue to do it. I continue to smile and wave. They had a silver Hyundai at the time. And apparently, after like maybe say 6 months of them ignoring us and all that stuff, we're waving, trying to be neighborly. Their kids are young, like 2, 3 years old. They're waving at us and everything, but they just kind of seemed like they had an issue with us. And I just couldn't put two and two together. And then one day, it was like 3 or 4 in the morning. My wife wakes me up, like I hear car alarm going off. And when the car alarm went off, apparently, like some guys, I guess, I didn't see it. I'm vision impaired, but my wife was like, she didn't see anything. Everybody in the neighborhood heard the alarm. It was loud. It was a newer car. And so after like 6 to 8 months, my wife thinks it was a year, but I'm saying 6 to 8 months, which is still a long time to be ignoring someone when they're speaking and all that stuff. But again, everybody has a past, everybody has a history. So just because you meet someone and it seems like they're standoffish or they're kind of like, hey, you stay over there, we stay over here, something has happened to them. So you don't just, oh, whatever, forget you, oh, forget you. You got to find out what happened. So after the car was broken into, guess whose door they decided to knock on? Yes, mine. And I was so shocked because I'm thinking, wow, like it took someone breaking into your car so you could be able to speak to the Black people? Now they're Hispanic. Both of them are Hispanic. She looks white, but I don't know too many white girls with the name Felicia. So, I put it out there. I don't give a care, bro, because people need to stop being racist. So I put names out there. I say all the stuff. Yeah, I'm a blind snitch. So she came over. She asked, hey, did y'all see anything? Now, this is funny, and I should actually, say something about this. Since they refused to come and meet us, they never got a chance to hear my testimony about my eyes and my blindness in my right eye. So had they been cordial and been neighborly themselves, they would have known, oh, he's vision impaired. He probably didn't see anything. So she comes over and she's like, knock, 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 like, hey, did you guys see anything? No, I didn't see anything. And so then she opens up a little bit and says, hey, their issue with Black people. They were sitting on the couch one day watching a Netflix or some type of movie, and I guess 2 or 3 Black guys were trying to literally break into their apartment while they were watching the movie, broad daylight. I was like, man, okay. But the issue with racism in America is if a white person is watching the news and they just keep reporting on Black people committing crimes, and not white people that commit crimes too, or Hispanics or Chinese or whatever, it's going to paint the wrong picture. So people begin to build this harder racism like, oh, all Black people are dangerous, which isn't true. All Black people are lazy, which isn't true. All Black people are unemployed and just living off the government, not true. So you got to understand, like, America has messed up everything over time because why? They put these stereotypes into people's minds and hearts, and people ran with them. They believed them until the white person's whole world is shattered when they meet the Black person, and the Black person is probably nicer than some of their white friends. They meet the Black person and they're probably serving them on a level that you wouldn't find other races doing. Like I've done that. Like I've lived next to people where I was like, hey, I'll take your trash, even though you're capable of doing it. I'll bring in your groceries, even though I know if I was dead, you would get your groceries inside. Like, I just want to serve people. Like, that's what I want to do. Even though I'm aware and smart enough to know what people are capable of. I don't walk around with this slavery. So if a white person asks me for help, then they're just trying to make me their slave. I don't think like that, bro. I don't think like that. I love people. Anyone that knows me knows that I love people. So back to my neighbors across the street. So she said, yo, we were watching the movie. 2 or 3 black guys were trying to break in. We ran to the door. They ran away. They got scared. They thought we weren't home. So ever since then, we don't trust black people. I said, okay, fair enough. So then, months go by. I'm still waving and stuff. My wife says she's not even waving back, and neither is her husband. I said, man, that's crazy. What is that about? You guys came and knocked on our door, but you're still not waving back or whatever. It's like, don't talk to us. You're black. So then they buy surveillance cameras. There's like 2 of them, like on their porch. Now they got real major trust issues. They want to catch, I guess, the people that broke into their old car, which he doesn't have anymore. But it was funny that they assumed that because I'm black that I knew who did it. You see what I'm saying? Like the confusion in people's hearts and minds. So then, the reason why I decided to do this video is because yesterday I was outside kind of going over some jokes and rehearsing a little bit. And I noticed that her kids came to the window. And then all of a sudden, like I'm out there for like at least a good 5 hours, right? And so all of a sudden, like maybe an hour into me being outside and her kids are constantly at the window just waving and screaming and yelling or whatever, I hear her hit her car alarm. And I don't know, man, why that bothered me a little bit. I was like, what in the world? Like, first you asked me if I seen anyone break into your car a year ago. Now you turn your car alarm on as if a blind man can drive. So long story short, how in the world am I making thousands of dollars now off of racism? It's because situations like that gives me ideas. I write that idea down. I formulate it in the form of a joke, and then I put it on stage, and everyone's laughing. Everyone's cracking up now. I'm getting rich off of other people's racism. If someone sees me and they say, hey, Leon, blah, 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 I'm like, okay. And I know it's probably like making people feel uncomfortable because they're like, wow, when we say racist stuff to Leon, it just rolls off. Well, what you don't understand is Leon's taking notes of what you just said, and Leon's going to put it on stage now. Yeah, see, I'm not going to stoop to other people's ignorance and then like they throw out a racial slur. Then, I believe in God and I believe in loving God and loving people. And if I don't speak life into people's life, I'm probably not going to see God in one piece. So that's my mentality. That's my heart. Everybody else can believe like they want to. Like, I mean, there's people from the 60s that think because they didn't let black people come into the church and worship that they went to heaven when they died. Well, that's hatred. So you keep black people out of the church in the 1960s, but then you die. And then some kind of way, Jesus is supposed to say, come on in, you're racist. So a lot of people, even when I hear people say, oh, everyone went to heaven, like, no, that's just what we say because we're here on earth on this side. And that sounds nice. But if you take the time out to study the scriptures, you'll find out where a lot of people went. And if you can remember their lifestyle, you really know where they went. So I just think it's one of those situations. How did I make thousands of dollars as a comedian? And how do I currently make? I have shows coming up and I'm doing all of this material. A lot of times I could kick back because that's my joke for the day. I wrote it. I used to write like 5 jokes a day. Now I'm down to 1 joke. And I'm going to tell you why. If I spend 8 hours on one joke, I have a better chance of that joke sounding better than me trying to create 5 in one day. So a lot of people say create 5, create 10, but I was like, no, one. Do one joke a day for 8 hours. Just work like 2-hour increments on the joke, and then after that, man, put it on stage. So that racist remark, those racist antics, those things that she continues to do. Her husband speaks to me now. He's cool, but you could kind of tell. You know how people, that's one thing about God. He made us spiritual because he's spiritual. We were made in his image and in his likeness. So one thing about life is that you could tell, even if someone never opens their mouth, you could tell if the person is racist or not. Now, there's a new version of racism that I was able to discern where people can still be nice to you, but then they still can say racist things to you. They can still be the meaning, say derogatory terms, and oh, black people belong in North Tulsa, but Leon, we like you. Or Leon, you're doing great with comedy, but don't think a lot of people are gonna laugh at your stuff. Like you could tell, like, there's this imbalance. And like, dude, so I made my wife laugh the other day. There's my favorite chapter in the New Testament is Romans chapter 8 because it talks about the spirit and the flesh. So you got to understand something. Like a lot of times when people are talking to you, they can talk to you, and I'm talking about Christians at this point because only a Christian who's repentant for their sins will be able to say they walk in the spirit or they walk in the flesh. Like an unsaved person can care less about spirit, flesh. They don't care about none of that stuff. But for a believer, so a believer can trick you because in their spirit, man, they could, say loving things, but with the same heart, same mouth, they can also say fleshly things. That's like, oh wow, why did that come out of your mouth? So, I don't know, man. It is what it is. Like I said before, I don't get mad at people. I'm disappointed because I'm like, man, it's 2022. We should be so far ahead. We should be edifying one another. When you see a black person succeeding, you edify them. If you see a white person succeeding, edify them. If you see a Hispanic person succeeding, edify them. Edify. Man, edification is, you got to study edification, bro. But edify people when they're succeeding. Don't be the voice that, because I've been around white people that will, they know I do comedy, but they'll try to hurry up and be like, oh, Leon, you're doing great. And then they'll never bring it up for like another hour or two. You be like, that's kind of strange. But they'll talk about everybody else's success that's white. So a white person can say, oh, have you seen such and such success? Have you seen what the white person is doing over here at this church? Have you seen what this white person is doing over here? Have you seen what this person is doing? Did you see what Biden's doing? Do you see what do you see what Donald Trump's doing? You see it, and all that's doing is showing me where your heart's at. It's showing me that, oh, we don't need to spend 5 or 10 minutes to talk about your comedy career, Leon. Like, let's ignore that. Or let's just throw it out. Like, let's say something for 10 seconds, then throw it out. And then we'll get back to our own narcissism of me, myself, and I. And that's the reason why a lot of people disappear out of people's lives, because people get tired of that. I'm not going to waste my life listening to anybody that's going to be, I don't want to just say like racist, because racism deals with power. You can be prejudiced, you can be all kinds of different things, but the reality check is, like, people got to check their heart, they got to guard their heart, and they got to be aware of what they're doing or what they're saying. There's a thing that I've been studying called conversational dominance. Conversational dominance is a very, very huge problem in America. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, I'm having a conversation with someone, right? I'll say my next door neighbor's upstairs from Venezuela. My boy Manuel, super cool, bro. Thank you again for taking me where I needed to go a few weeks ago. So let's say I'm having a conversation with him, right? I say, hey, how you doing, bro? He says, how you doing, Leon? And then all of a sudden I go right into just talking about me, myself, and I for like 10, 15 minutes. When he gets an opportunity to speak, because remember, a good conversation is a two-way street. It's not just about you, and it's not even just about me. So if I tell my boy Manuel like 15 minutes of my life, and then he tries to open up and say something about his life, and I cut him off within 10 seconds, 20 seconds, that's what we call conversational dominance. It's a person that deals with the spirit of pride and the spirit of superiority. And that's an issue in America, especially with all the technology now. So you have people that will act like they want to have a conversation with you, act like they want you to sit with them, act like they want you to go to the mall with them or shop with them or go to school with them or go to college with them. You'll have people that will act like they want your presence. Once you come around, you'll find out real fast, wow, you can barely say anything. You can barely get anything out. That's what we call conversational dominance. They want to take dominance over the conversation. And it's built in the spirit of superiority and the spirit of pride. Their arrogance and their narcissism won't allow you to speak. And in the superiority, they don't want to hear anything you have to say. So that's the reason why you have a lot of people that will try to carry on and they'll tell you 10 different topics in the conversation. And you're like, when can I respond to any of them? Like my wife, like in my neighborhood, like my wife, she don't even like really talk to a lot of people anymore because she's like, well, if I say something good about my son, then somebody else that's dealing with the spirit of superiority and the spirit of pride will say, oh, if your son did this is what my daughter did. This is what my son did. This is what my grandchild's done. It's like, this isn't a competition. If it's love God, love people, it should never be a competition, especially if no one even asked you. You ever get the feeling like when you're like people see you, they're under the assumption that you ask them, hey, tell me about your family. Tell me about your immediate family. Tell me about your past. Tell me about your past life. Tell me about your present life. You've never asked any of that stuff, but they'll go right into it. Why? Because Jesus Christ was very clear in the New Testament. He says, not what you put in your mouth that makes you unclean, is what comes out. So all you're seeing is a manifestation of what's coming out of a person's heart. It could be arrogance. It could be narcissism. It could be racism. It could be prejudice. It could be anything. That's the reason why I do these videos, because this is a form of therapy, bro. A lot of times people say, oh, therapy is wrong. No, therapy is good, bro. Like I'll talk to God for 2 or 3 hours because sometimes this stuff will build up. And you'll have to separate yourself for a while from people just so you could be able to get the healing and everything. Because people don't ask questions. People don't care. People are, hey, how's your wife? I never hear that anymore. Hey, how's your son? How's his grades? How's school? Leon, hey, when is this going on? And I'm not talking about that facetious stuff where it's like, hey, Leon, when's your next comedy show? And after they ask that, and then after that, they come with 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes of what they have to say. So you don't even know what to say. You just kind of smile and nod and play it off. It's weird, bro. It's weird. Conversational dominance. Look it up. So to bring this to a close, I didn't want this to be a long video. I could be long-winded. The next door neighbors across the street, I pray for them. I hope they're young. They're like in their early 20s. I hope that they don't allow racism. I hope they don't allow prejudice, stereotypes to keep them from good friendships and relationships. I understand there's some people, they don't want that. They want to live in the neighborhood and they want to just live their life and just leave us alone. Like some people have that mindset. If you're over the age of 55, you have an old school mindset of like, hey, we live in a neighborhood. Everybody bakes apple pies for everyone. Everyone comes together during the holidays. That's if you lived in a housing neighborhood. A lot of us we only know the apartment life. The apartment life is different. You could be friendly, you could be cordial, you could speak, but you really just got to live your own life. Don't get so acquainted thinking that you can depend on 10 different people in your block with the apartment life. Because a lot of these people are young. They're trying to live their own life. Some people are trying to, get their career up and going. I know for me, I had to, just get in the zone. Like, man, I got to rehearse because people don't give a care. They're like, people can be selfish, like, forget rehearsal. Come, I need you over here. But the reality check is, if you don't prepare, then you're going to be sued. I signed a lot of contracts worth thousands of dollars. I have to be prepared, and I am. Today we had a great session, bro. I even broke out a sweat. Like when I really get into comedy, bro, I be breaking out in sweats, bro, because I be into it, bro, because these stories come from my heart and these jokes come from my heart. And that's the reason why I don't take any crap off of people who, if I catch you hating on me or talking slick or doing something out of pocket, I call you out. I say first and last name. I don't give a care. I don't give a care if you got a cross around your neck, because there's a lot of fake Christians out there too. And I just tell it like it is. And so there you have it, bro. Pray for people, bro. First Thessalonians 5:17 says, pray without ceasing. So pray for people and keep it moving. All right. Pray for the racists in your neighborhood. Pray for the people that walk in love and not hate. God bless.